This is Frank Alcoa.
And I'm John Challenger.
And this is Election 1980. Meet the candidates. Our first candidate is Governor Jerry Brown of California. Governor Brown, when you were not nominated for the 1976 Democratic nomination, how did you feel?
I've been cheated, been mistreated.
What would you like to say to Jimmy Carter about the job he's done since then?
You're no good, baby, you're no good.
Governor Brown, as a candidate for president in 1980, where does your appeal lie?
From the coast of California to the shores of the Delaware Bay.
One last question, Governor Brown. You seem to have led a pretty active social life.
Ooh, baby, baby.
Thank you very much, Governor Brown. Earlier in the day, former California Governor Ronald Reagan dropped in by the studio and had this to say.
I wish I was 18 again.
I've got President Carter on the telephone from Washington. President Carter, why do you want to be reelected in 1980?
Georgia is just no place to be.
Mr. Carter, how certain are you of reelection?
Everything's okay.
And how would being reelected make you feel?
Higher than any bird ever flew.
One more question, Mr. President. Are you feeling a lot of hot competition in this election?
Lots of those friendly people, they're showing me ways to go.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier today, President Carter announced that when he wins the nomination, Vice President Walter Mondale will again be his running mate. Mondale's reaction to this was,
Why me? Why me?
and now back to Frank Alcoa, who is talking to everybody's favorite, Richard Nixon.
Mr. Nixon, why is it...
Why is everybody always picking on me?
No, don't get paranoid, Mr. Nixon. Now, Mr. Nixon, you are a man of experience. What advice do you have for the other candidates?
Walk away from trouble if you can.
Thank you, Mr. Nixon. And once again, back to John Challenger.
I'm talking to Republican candidates for president George Bush and John Connally. Mr. Connally, what are your qualifications for the presidency?
Well, I'm a long dog, Dixon.
Now, Mr. Bush, who do you think is most qualified to be the next president?
Me.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Mr. Kennedy has just walked into the studio. I'm going to turn you over to Frank Alcoa.
Mr. Kennedy, after all these years, are you finally ready to run for the presidency?
Yes, I'm ready.
During this campaign, Chappaquiddick seems to be a major issue.
I don't wanna talk about it.
Excuse me, Mr. Kennedy, but Ronald Reagan has just stepped into the studio again. And Mr. Reagan, what do you have to say?
And I wish I was 18 again.
Thank you, gentlemen. It looks like we're out of time. But we'd like to ask you all two more questions.
What's the most important thing that you need to campaign for president?
We don't need no education.
And finally, what is it you have to offer the American public in 1980?
My bologna.
What was that, Mr. Reagan?
Lord, I wish I was 18